Yes, I'm still wearing the same shirt. Now, look, first thing, every time I'll go a couple videos and it ends up being the same shirt, and it's never on purpose. This time, it was like the next day, so I'm still wearing the same shirt. But usually it's pure coincidence. I'm not poor. I'm not super poor, I swear. I have clothes. But welcome to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Again, now redubbed by Disney Legends. But we're here, guys. We're finally post Return of the Jedi. I watched Return of the Jedi, loved it, as I always do, because it's the original trilogy and I love it. And now everything else, everything that I read, everything that I hear, is post Return of the Jedi, which means that we're officially, technically, sequel trilogy territory. Though, I'm not going to try to compare it, because right now this is like, still just the original big three people. Once we get to the new Jedi Order series, where, we have Jason and Jaina and Anakin Solo, by that point in time, they'd probably be around the same age as they were in the actual sequels we got. But, I don't know. So I'll have to read it to find out. But I'm assuming they'd be around the same age around that time. So anyway, Truce to Bakura. I think that's how I say it. Bakura, Bedora. I don't know. Dora the Explorer. That was a really bad joke. Point is, I don't know how to say it. I think it's Bakura. I don't know. But this literally takes place a day after Return of the Jedi. Like, the second Death Star has been destroyed, Emperor Palpatine is dead, Darth Vader is dead, and Luke is still suffering from the electrical shocks he got from Emperor Palpatine. Like, he's still recovering from that. Like, he's getting destroyed, and so he's still healing from that. Now, this is realistic, because if this was on Earth, right, we have the internet, so we can everyone would find out something big, like the White House got blown up in a matter of seconds. But in an entire galaxy, not everyone's going to know what happened really quick. So Wedge Antilles is in there for a second, because Luke goes to help him. I kind of forget what he was helping him with, but they had to go do something. But anyway, I'm more thinking about, because I just finished it, so I'm more thinking about like the immediate big plot. But they get this distress call from a planet that is like imperial, like it's an imperial planet. They haven't had contact with everyone else for a little bit. They don't know that the Death Star's been destroyed. No one even knows that the Emperor's dead. So Luke and Han and Leia, they go there to try to help them out, because there's these weird like dinosaur looking alien dudes who, and this is getting like really weird, but we're gonna have a lot of weird stuff for the upcoming novels and whatnot. I mean, not all of it's gonna be weird, but there are a lot of weird. It's not necessarily bad. A lot of people hate on some of these books, I hear, but I'll have to read them for myself to get my own opinion. But it wasn't weird. It was just, I mean, it was weird, but it wasn't like bad. It was just interesting, because they have this like weapon that can like take your soul essence or something like that and put it into like computers and stuff to power up their stuff. It's really bizarre. But they have this kid named like Dez, who's like force sensitive, who's basically like brainwashed to do what they want, and it's a way of like giving them more power or whatever. But yeah, so that stuff is just really weird. I listened to an audiobook, so if it's not as in my head as it would be if I read it, but and I listened to it all in like a night, so it gets a little fuzzy. I didn't fall asleep. I mean, there were parts where I was dozing off, so that might be it. But I went back and tried to make sure I remembered most of it. But anyway, so yeah. Also, I'm sorry, I'm not doing this good of a job with telling you what the book is about, because I don't know. It's early in the morning, but I really enjoyed this book though, and it really feels like Star Wars as well, which was really cool. There's this Imperial lady. She has this whole backstory. I'm not gonna tell you about it. You should just read the book or listen to the audiobook or whatever. Get it. It's worth your time. But there's this whole like romantic thing going on with her and Luke, which is cool because Luke hasn't had a romantic interest yet. It's been Han and Leia. Luke's just kind of, he's been doing his big thing. He hasn't had a chance to really fall in love or anything. So you have this Imperial lady, and they clearly have like feelings for one another, but she really hates Jedi. Like, she's not for that. And if you read it, you'll find out why. But in the end, they kiss or whatever, but it doesn't work out. And obviously it can't work out because I know that he has to end up with Mara Jade. So obviously it can't work out. But yeah, the action is not super duper whooper crazy because this is literally a day after Return of the Jedi. So this book obviously is a bit smaller scale than the previous book was. But the whole reason that the Rebel Alliance goes to help these Imperials is because the Emperor's dead. Like, they're still Imperials and stuff, they're still warlords, but the big top boys are dead. But that's also something I like, because killing the Emperor and having Darth Vader be dead doesn't necessarily mean the Empire's just gone. No, it's not. But the whole thing with the Alliance is they want to build a new republic. They want to have a new republic. We had a republic in the prequels. They want a new republic now. So they're hoping that if they help out these Imperial people who aren't even really in the loop with people right now, that they'll be able to maybe form some kind of alliance, like be cool with one another and start to establish this new this new republic. So it's smaller scale, but still important for the grand scheme of things and stuff that will be going on in future novels and stuff like that. And I believe, though I'm not sure because this is my first time going through everything, I do believe some characters from this will appear way down the line, like in the New Jedi Order series and whatnot. One last thing that's really, really important that I don't think will be resolved for a while we're going through this. I don't believe it's going to be resolved to Tatooine's ghost. But Leia's having some big daddy issues, and it's understandable. And this is a complete example of the complete bastardization of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. Because we have episode 6. Luke forgives his father for no other reason than he is his father. Like, this is Space Hitler. And then Space Hitler 2.0 with Emperor Palpatine. Pure evil, no redemption there. But you have Darth Vader, who is basically Hitler. He's killed hundreds of thousands of millions of people. He is a bad person. But Luke forgives him because he is family and he can see the good in him. But Luke in the Disney trilogy, Kylo has a hint of darkness in him. And Luke goes, I should probably kill him. Now he doesn't, of course, he hesitates. And that turns Kylo bad or whatever. But the point is, that wouldn't even be a thought in Luke's mind. It would never be. Because it's not the type of person he is. And it's a complete contrast with Leia because she can't forgive Darth Vader. Her father that she grew up with was Bail Organa. That was her dad. And he got blown up when Alderaan was blown up in episode 4. Episode 4, sorry. And Anakin, not Darth Vader, Anakin, his Force Ghost shows up. I think before Han and Leia joined Luke on this Imperial place. They're still on Endor at this point in time. Because again, this is a day after Return of the Jedi. And he's just like, I know I've been terrible, but I just want forgiveness. Or whatever. And she refuses to forgive him. She hates him. And that was never resolved by in this book. She just held close to Han and moved on. But that wasn't resolved. It's still an issue going forward. She has not forgiven her father. She's still holding on to that hate, which Luke let go of. So that's interesting, and I think it will be resolved by Tatooine's Ghost, which is the book right before the big Thrawn trilogy. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. I have to say, I enjoy this story infinitely more than I enjoyed Allegiance and or Choices of One. Like, this was a hell of a lot more fun. Like, just a million times more fun than because I was so bored with those two books. Like, I was snoring in parts of it. Other parts I was like, oh yeah, that's good. Other parts I was like... But this, even though it's a lot more small scale and nothing too crazy is happening, it's still bizarre. You got guys like sucking your life force, sucking your soul out and putting it into tech. Like, that's still weird, but it's not like a Death Star like problem. It's not an Emperor Palpatine or Darth Vader problem. Like, it's not that big of a threat, but it's still important for the overall establishment of the New Republic and stuff. Overall, I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. If you want to get started in the EU and you don't know where to start, I would start here. I mean, this might not be the first book I would tell you to read because it's not super big scale. I mean, if you wanted to get into the EU for the first time, then I would probably say the Thrawn trilogy, which I haven't even read yet, but I know from like everywhere that people say it's really good, and that it was considered episode 7, 8, and 9 for a while, and then everything else in between that would be kind of like filler. But if you were trying to go on like chronological order, I would say read this first, because it takes place right after Return of the Jedi, so you could watch the original trilogy and get right into it. I mean, I know there's stuff from all the way 5,000 years before the prequels, stuff in between the prequels and the sequel and the original trilogy. But if you wanted to just see like what the sequels could have been, then I would start here, and then you can come join me along the journey throughout the expanded universe going forward. So yeah, Truce at Bakura. Fun ride, weird ride, definitely better than those last two books I read, Choices of One and Allegiance. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. This has been a splendid ride through a galaxy far, far away, and I'm excited to see what else the expanded universe has in store for me. I'll see you next time. Bye.